Hello, Hills staffers. I miss all your smiling faces. I hope everybody's doing well and staying safe. This is going to be a quick tutorial video on how to use ConnectEd, and then I'll do another video for how to use Pearson online. So first things first is you need to make sure that you have all your students actually into the program. Kindergarten, I can see that be the only one who might have an issue. Everybody else should be good first grade on. So after your students are in, you're obviously going to click the teacher edition. Give it a second to load. If you hear Alexander yelling, it's because he and Dave are playing Fortnite, and this is what I do when they play. So Mrs. Pickford missed. I mean, if you're missing him and you would like to take him the rest of the time till summer vacation, I would be a-okay with that. I'll even send you some mac and cheese, because that's about all we eat. All right, so after finally loads, the next thing you need to do is make sure that your calendar is correct. So I was working on some Unit 5 Week 1 things, so that's why mine says Unit 5 Week 1. To plan out your calendar, hit calendar, make sure everything's up to par where you want it to be, and you're teaching what standards you want to be taught. So if you need me to go in more detail over that, I think the majority of you know how to set up your calendar if you've been using it. So this is really just how to assign it and how to check. But if somebody needs me to teach them that, I can teach you that as well. So if you look over here where it says weekly printables, this is where you will find your workbook pages. And if you go to right here where it says the Your Turn, that is where your Turn practice workbook pages are, and all of them will be for Unit 5 Week 1. To assign them to your students, all you do is click the cog, click Assign This Resource. Then after you click Assign This Resource, give it a second. Remember, I live out in the middle of nowhere. It kind of runs a little slow. You'll need to put the assignment name in next. Then you'll need to put your start date and your due date. It will not assign it if you do not have a name. So usually you just put like Your Turn, Unit 1, or Unit 5, Week 1, whatever you're on. Then the start date and the due date. Then you want to make sure you click all, select all your students. And then when you go, if I can get there, hang on, let me get there. When you go all the way down to the bottom of the page, you will actually see it'll say assign. So then you're just going to assign from there. And that's how you assign an assignment. So if you go back and you want to assign more, just click here, Wonders Home. Give it a second. Oh, and then give it a minute, sorry. And then here's your spelling, and then there's your grammar. The other thing that I would recommend doing, even though it's underneath the games, is I always put these underneath the to-do as well. You don't have to. As long as your calendar is set correctly, it'll automatically come underneath the students' games. But sometimes they won't do it unless it's under the to-do. So same difference or same thing. Just click Sign This Resource, and you put the name and all that. So it's pretty easy, guys. I mean, you can't break it. Now you need to make sure, or first you need to make sure all your classroom, if you want to check out your classroom detail, check out your classroom detail. It has all your kids' names in it. Make sure they're set, if they're approaching or on level. That way the games will adjust to whatever their academic ability is. So then after you assign something and the student does it and turns it in, you want to go to Assignment Manager. So this is where you're going to check all those workbook pages. I went in and looked at Ella's. So if I click here, so that was under Manage and Assign, Assignment Manager. Click the down arrow. And like Akashis, he said he did it, but he did not, I don't think he clicked Save because there was nothing there. But if I look at Ella's and I click View, and there's a separate video that I can send you guys the link to if you want it, that explains to the parents how to save and do all the online workbook pages. And you can also she sent me a comment, and I can send a comment back to her if I wanted to. But to actually check the page, so here's the grammar page over here that she submitted. And then I give it a second to come up. All right, so then here's the actual workbook page. So I look to see how she did. Okay, you know, she did a great job. She got them all right. So then if I want to send her a note back that says, I can send it back over here, comments to student. Great job, Ella. You got them all correct. Okay, and then you would just scroll down and you would click save, and then it would send back to her. So she's only turned in one of the pages because that was the only one we did, but let me double check to see if it actually sent all of them, because nobody in my classroom has actually. Okay, so it did. So we told our students you can't click turn in or submit on their end until all the pages are done, because this is what happens if they turn in and they're not all done. When you click this arrow, it's kind of hard to see because my screencast isn't over there, but if you look down towards the right hand corner, you'll see the page 1, 2. This is page 3. So then you would want to go through and look at each one of those pages and then take some notes and then write them right here. So I would say you got them all correct on page 1, but the other 4 pages are not done. And okay, even though she really didn't do them online, she's still doing paper pencil copy. So then I would want to mark that it wasn't completed because it's not completed. So then you would probably, and I would also want to mark that it's not submitted, and then I would save. That way it goes back to her, and that way she knows that it was not done correctly. And that then she could read the notes to see exactly what more she needs to add to her papers. So that's basically how you look at the workbook pages. Then if you go back to Assignment Manager, what's nice, and you know, TC was talking about how can we tell that our students are on and they're working. You could take perhaps, like, you know, if you wanted to go to grammar, and I could just take a screenshot of this with my phone, and I could show, okay, well, this child did this. Or what I could also do is, hang on, I could view by student, and then let me go to Ella. There she is. So then if I look at Ella, and I could screenshot this as well, I could screenshot it so that way, you know, if the state comes and they want to see that this child did their work or something of that nature. I don't know where we're going at with this, but you can also just take a screenshot and then it will show that this child was on at this time and that they were doing their work. So I guess if we have to prove that we're, you know, they're working, that's one way to do it. Now, if you're wanting to do an assessment, you want to go to Online Assessment Center. I'm not sure who all wants to give an assessment online. If you want to do a selection test, or if you want to do the weekly test, those both are available. Give it a second. So then what you're wanting to do is you want to go to Assign a Test from the library, and then My Tests. Now, it'll say G3 Wonder Selection Test. Those are the selection tests. So that would go with their literature anthology books. So you would click that and then assign a test that way. And then if you want to do the weekly cold reads, those are just Reading Wonders grade 3. So let's look, and these are both done the same way. Once you click on one, it's both the same way. So after you click on that, then you want to search by title subject. So you always go by the unit and the week. So if I wanted to assign, you know, Unit 5, Week 1 selection test, there it is. Then I click on the test. And then I would click Assign to Class. And then when you click Assign to Class, you can set up, you know, I always do mine manually, or schedule, excuse me. I would schedule an available time. So that way, if I'm on doing all my computer stuff today, I could go ahead and schedule that. So like I want to schedule this for April, let me think, I gotta think, it's the 15th. And then I want it to close on April the 16th. and then I can allow for late, in case somebody's sick, God forbid, and then it's all students, and this will come up so that way I can make sure it's all students are being able to assign a test. Yep, it says all students, so we're good. And then you would just click assign to your class. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And then the program will automatically assign that, but it won't be available to the students. So if you look, it says pending, so it won't open up to the students till April the 15th. So that's just a little tidbit on Wonders, how to look at the graded paper, how to grade papers, not that we're grading them, but just to see how your students are doing. And then if you see Johnny is not understanding pronouns, then you can always reach out and say, hey, little Johnny's mom, I see that you're not understanding pronouns. I have this great YouTube video that I found. I think it might help, and send that type of resource to them. So I hope this helps. If you have any other questions that I missed, please let me know. Again, it's really not bad, and you will not break it, so don't be afraid to click buttons. And if you get stuck, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. I'm stuck on 213, in my house just like the rest of you. So plus it might help me from not hurting Alexander. Just kidding, Mrs. Pickford. I would not hurt Alexander. Maybe put him in timeout though. All right, well, I hope you guys are staying safe and take care, and I hope this helps.